Hey everyone, what's up? And welcome to week 7 of my fantasy football season. Now, before I even get into this week, I have to first mention last week. Apparently, stat corrections are a thing, and after my video last week, I actually did wind up losing my fantasy matchup last week. So, after 6 weeks, I am at 3-3 instead of 4-2. Uh, they originally gave a couple of my players a few extra points, and I wound up, instead of winning that close game, wound up only losing by like less than a point. So we have that. Uh, with that being said, I also did drop from second to third because one of the other teams that are 3-3 have more points than me this season. So now we can get into this week and what really is a must-win week for me because 3-4 is bad and 4-3 is still bad, but it's better than 3-4. Although it's only one game, it's like really, it feels like it's more than one game. So we will get started with my players scoring for this week. Peyton Manning had a great week this week. He broke the all-time touchdown record against the 49ers with 4 touchdowns. Got to 510 in his career. Got me a solid 32 points this week. He was up against Matt Ryan, who only got 14, not even 15 points this week for Matt Ryan against the Ravens. Also had my receivers this week didn't do too well. Deshaun Jackson only got 7 points, and Andre Holmes, who I actually picked up because all the fantasy experts were saying that Andre Holmes was a great pickup for this week against Arizona. And he's getting all the targets for Oakland and blah, 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 all this crap. This is the second time this year that I have decided to go with a fantasy expert's opinion, and it backfired. Well, it didn't really backfire because my other receivers on my bench, as I will get into later, didn't do well either. But Andre Holmes only got 6 points, only 3 catches for 34 yards. But Torrey Smith did have his second good week in a row. He did score a touchdown, 3 catches for 81 yards. So he got me 17 points. So I did lose this week at wide receiver, even though he only had 2 receivers play this week and I had 3. Because Demaryius Thomas had 37 points this week. That outscored all 3 of my receivers by himself, and then he also had Antonio Brown with 22. We are having more slight problems with the running back situation, which I thought was actually my strong point going after the draft. I thought running back was going to be my strong point this year, but Marshawn Lynch is still he had 18 rushes and only 53 yards, no touchdowns, 2 catches, but he still underperformed this week, only got 18, and Fred Jackson got injured in the first half against Minnesota. So now, for next week, I only have Lynch as a healthy running back playing. He's the only one that I have, so I have to do some searching on that waiver wire, as I already have. I have waiver claims for Denard Robinson, Trey Mason, and Darren McFadden, all three of those guys. So hopefully I can get one of those waiver pickups for next week so that I actually have the second running back that I can put in. Because as shown by this week, Zach Stacy is no longer really going to be a part of the rushing attack for the Rams. I guess he played in one play against Seattle and he didn't even carry the ball. No touches. He had no touches against Seattle. Trey Mason and Billy Cunningham got all the touches for the Rams this week. So that's definitely something to look out for, my running backs. But even though my running backs were terrible this week, I won the running back matchup because this guy had Monte Ball in, who was injured. So Monte Ball got a big fat 0. And Alfred Morris got 16. This week I had Larry Donnell for my tight end. This was a 1-week pickup for me. Zach Ertz will be back in there next week. But Larry Donnell did get me a solid 12 points this week up against Heath Miller, who usually has big weeks, who only got 2. The Steelers had finally, their offense showed something for the first time in a while. Sweejum had a good week this week with 14 points. He made 2 field goals and I was right the first time. 3 field goals and 3 PATs. Colts defense came up big for me again. They did get the shutout and 4 sacks against Cincinnati. They got me 28. Washington had a decent week this week against Tennessee. Didn't allow that many points. Had a fumble recovery and an interception. And got me 17 points. My defenses continue to be a big part of my team, as I did win in defense by a pretty big margin. 13-9 is only 22, so the Colts alone beat my opponent's 2 defenses. And then we have my individual defensive players as well, with Levy having another big week with 19 points. He had 8 tackles alone and 3 assisted. Carlos Dansby was actually my worst defensive player this week. And we all know he is capable of having monster weeks. But Dansby had 3 tackles, a sack, and 3 assisted tackles. And then I picked up Vincent Ray this week after Jared Mayo's injury. And Vincent Ray got me a solid 23. So he had a big week. So for me with 7 solo tackles and 9 assisted. Now we will get into my bench. Terrence Williams only had 1 catch, although it was a touchdown. Terrence Williams seems to be a touchdown machine. He has 6 touchdowns in the last 7 games. Zach Ertz had a bye. Frank Gore only rushed the ball 9 times for 20 yards, so he only got 6.5. Brian Quick only had 2 catches for 33 yards, so he only had 5.3. Zach Stacy, as I said before, didn't touch the ball this week, and Jay Cutler got 11.8 as a quarterback. So my bench, not really doing too much this week. The only place I really could have done better is if I would have had Terrence Williams in there for Andre Holmes, and even that is only a 3-point difference. So not really too big of a difference. Fred Jackson, even though he only played less than half, outscored Frank Gore. So we will get into my score. I did win by quite a few this week. 214 to 131. That is about 83 points I won by. So we had a big win. There's no stat corrections taking this one away from me this week, I don't think. And we are now 4-3. But we have improvements that do still need to be made to this team, because my receivers are still a problem, and my running backs are now becoming a slight problem for me, since I only do have one healthy, active running back for my team on my roster next week. Normally, I would say I could just put in Frank Gore just to get points, but Frank Gore has a bye next week, so I can't do that. And who knows what's going on with Zach Stacy on the Rams. That's why I went to pick up Trey Mason. But at 4-3, we will see. I believe I'm still in third. I am still in third, as you see there. Second place is just a little bit ahead of me in points right now. I did have the biggest margin of victory this past week. And next week, as of right now, I am underdog for next week. I am a 45-point underdog for next week, against a team that is actually right ahead of me in second place. So, hopefully we can get a running back for next week to play. And until next time, good luck, have fun, and be safe.